So I was just recording this video, but the storage got full, so I just had to delete shit. So I'm doing this video again. I was only like 3 minutes in anyway, so what I was saying is that life is basically just relationship. That's what life is. There's you, and then there's everything else. So whether it's you're relating to thoughts or emotions or people or the environment you're in, whatever it is, life is just an act or a game or play of relating. So this is really crucial to understand, because this is all there is to life, is relationship. And how do you relate? And what even is other? What is other than you? What are you relating to? And who are you? See, these are like fundamental questions that people don't really ask. Like, okay, who am I? And how am I separate from other things? And what are other things? And what is relating anyway, But anyway, as I was saying, I deleted the video. Anyway, what I struggle with mostly in life is human relationship. Human relating to humans. Especially the roles that I play. So for instance, boyfriend, girlfriend, son, father, son, mother, brother, sister, friend, playing all these roles. Something I struggle with, because it's like, who am I? I'm like a different person to each of these people, because I relate different, because I'm playing a different role. And I feel trapped a lot of the time. I feel trapped in thinking that I've got to be this role. And I've got like a preconceived understanding of how I think this role should be. So it's like, if I am playing the boyfriend, it's like I've got this like whole like this whole conceptual understanding of how I think a boyfriend should be, or not even that, but like just what I've been brainwashed into thinking what a boyfriend is, and like subconsciously I act that shit out. And so there's some things that I don't say to my girlfriend, but but the same things I could say easily to one of my friends. And it's because I've got this preconceived idea of what these roles are about. And that's fucked. That's what I don't fucking like, is that I feel like I can't be fucking honest, because I'm fucking in these bullshit roles that on one level exist. Of course they do. But, well, I mean, there are roles like biologically, like my mother and my father. Like, I am their son biologically. But then there are roles like boyfriend, girlfriend, or husband and wife. That's just a conceptual idea. That's not like grounded in anything. That's just like that's an idea from a fucking monkey's head, do you know what I mean? Like, you've got like physical proof that you're a son to to this father or mother, or you're a brother to this sister. But like husband to wife or boyfriend to girlfriend, that's just a concept. That doesn't actually exist. Like, what the fuck is that? What is that? And so I just feel like I've been brainwashed with all these ideas of all these roles of being a son, of being a boyfriend, of being a friend, of being a brother, of being a stranger. All these ideas like brainwashed into me like at an early age from like watching movies and TV shows and all this other shit and society at large, and it's like I was just want to fucking break out of it. And yeah, as I was saying, like you can like on one level it is true. Like being a son is more truer than being a boyfriend in the sense that it actually has some validity in it. Like you can actually, like, it is true that I am a son, and like that can never be taken away from me. But the fact that I'm a boyfriend, that can be taken away from me. You know what I mean? So you can definitely see that on one level this boyfriend-girlfriend role doesn't exist at all. That's just a concept in our mind. But you can also see this, say, father-son or mother-son role. You can also go beyond that, because you can see that physically, biologically, that's true on one level. But on another level, it's just awareness. Like, I'm not this body or this mind. I'm this non-physical thing, this spirit, consciousness, or a soul, or whatever. And it's like, how do you relate? Where do you relate? Because I'm sick of playing these roles, because I don't know, it's just never been that satisfying. When I can just like, when I am like, I don't know, like in a good state, I can just see past the roles, and all that's happening is just friend to friend, human to human, or being to being, soul to soul. And that's when it's really loving. That's when it's joyful to actually relate, because you're relating on the sameness. You relate on the sameness. Because when you're different, when it's like father and son, it's like you're relating on a separate level, and there's no relation there, because how are you relating? You're different. So it's always crucial to be operating at one level, at more than one level of consciousness at a time. So you can play, say, the father-son role, but then at the same time, you've got to be relating at a soul-to-soul level, as a friend to friend, as a human to human, as a being to being. You know, you need that sameness as well. And this is why the world's fucked. This is why wars start and shit. It's because we fail to relate on the level of sameness, human to human, soul to soul. We always see the differences. We go, oh, like, I'm a different nationality to you, I'm fucking better than you, or oh, I'm a male and you're a female, oh, I'm fucking better than you, or I can do this thing and you can't do that, I'm better than you. And we focus on all these differences. And that's why fucking wars start and shit. When we need to focus on the sameness. What is sameness? And that can be the most, like, extraordinary thing when you can relate to the sameness in fucking everything. Like this leaf. You'd think like, well, I'm definitely like nothing to this leaf. Like this, me and this leaf. There's nothing same about that. I'm a human. That's a fucking leaf from a tree. Completely different box of frogs. But of course there's sameness, because, well, like, this is physical, that's physical. It is a part of nature. I'm a part of nature. And you can go fucking deep with this shit. And then you just see that it's all happening in consciousness. Without consciousness, without awareness, without knowing, then none of this would exist. Nature, or just life, is the ultimate thing that you can relate to. The sameness. And that's what I'm trying to do all the time in my life now. Is that I'm trying to go beyond the separation, beyond the differences, and see the sameness within everyone and everything. That's what I'm trying to do. And then it's important to even understand who you are. Because what if you're relating to somebody or something with your sameness, you've got to understand who you are first to even relate. And that's why you need to identify with something relatively same. If you identify yourself as your job title, then the only way that you can relate is other people with the same job title. If you identify with yourself with the music that you like, then you can only relate to people with the same taste in music as you. If you identify as being kind, then you can only relate to people that are also kind. People that you think are dickheads with no compassion whatsoever. You may be kind to them just because you're trying to be this compassionate person, but there's still going to be a level of you where it's like, oh, that guy was a fucking idiot, a fucking dickhead, what's he up to there, whatever. So it's funny when people can like pride themselves in the fact that they're kind and compassionate, but then like don't understand people who are dickheads. People who, well, that's, the superficial perspective is like, oh, there's a dickhead over here, like he's mean and whatever. But if you're like truly compassionate, you won't even see that. You won't even see that he's dickhead or that he's mean, because you'll just understand where he's coming from. You'll see this person and understand why they are the way that they are, based on their upbringing, and you can understand. Anyway, getting caught in this. Where was I? So if you base your identity on the differences, I'll identify as a punk rocker, then I can only relate to punk rockers as sameness. And that's really where we come together. What you identify with is what you're seeking. And in a very subtle way, you're projecting onto the world that everybody should be like you. You're saying, this is me, and this is what I stand for. I want everyone to be the same. That's what people do, is that everyone's got this personal reality, and they want the world to be what they believe in. You got one person on this political party saying that my views of the world are right. I want everyone to convert to my political party. Everyone else is wrong in other political parties. This is the right one. Or like same with religion. Like, I want everyone to convert to Christianity. All other religions are wrong. This is the right one. So we're all living in our own personal reality. And so if you're a Christian, you see another Christian, it's like, oh yes, you understand me. And then if you see like some atheist, it's like they haven't got a clue. And then you can't really relate to them because you can't really understand where they're coming from. And so what I'm trying to do in my life is identify with myself as something that is the same in everyone and everything, which to my eyes is consciousness. That might even be too far out for some people, but what I would, if you don't want to go that far, base your identity as a human. Just a human. Just a human. That means you can relate to everybody in the world, because everybody is a human. So if you identify yourself as a human and nothing really else, you're gonna have your own personal preferences. But if you see your personal preferences as equal to everybody else's personal preferences, things will be fine. But if you see your personal preferences as worse or better than other people's, then that's when it gets tricky, So we can all do this. We can all realize that we're all human. And the things that are going on in our mind and our body in this day and age, we can be sure that there are fucking millions more out there with the exact or very similar experience, because we are human. We've got the same mind, the same body. The content's different, but the way our mind works is the same. We experience the same emotions. Someone might get upset about some completely different idea than another person that's getting upset, but both people are still upset, and that's something that you can relate on. You're both human. You're a human getting upset, and that's something, that's compassion, that's empathy, that's coming together and realizing that the sameness in nature. But yeah, like I said, you can go a step further and realize that consciousness, like, I'm not just this physical mind and body. I'm this like spirit or awareness that is aware of the body and the mind, of these thoughts and emotions, I'm aware. I know that I know. And when you see that in people, when you know that you know, when you're aware that you're aware, and that's the furthest down that you can get. That's the there's no more you after that. And awareness isn't even, like, it's got no properties, it's got no substance, it's just this emptiness. So you can't really go beyond that. So awareness or consciousness, when you start to see that in yourself, when you start to become conscious that you are conscious, you can see that within other people, and then that is something even more spectacular. That's like, wow, that I see consciousness in you. That same consciousness in you is the exact same within me. And you're just experiencing this human body and mind like I'm experiencing this one. Because we don't choose any of this. We're born into the world. Our environment shapes who we are. Our parents shape who we are. Our society shapes who we are. The time period shapes who we are. Our education shapes who we are. Our friends shape who we are. Our whole thing shapes who we are. We don't choose any of it. We come into the world as a blank slate of consciousness, and then things start getting piled on top of us. And so this piling on top of us was not our choice. We don't have free will. This mind, these words coming out of my mouth, was always going to happen. Always going to happen. It's how I'm built. It's what has shaped me. Everything happens the way it's supposed to. And so when you see that you don't have free will, you are just this consciousness experiencing what it's like to be this body and this mind with these thoughts and feelings, then you can look at somebody else and see that they are the exact same consciousness experiencing what it's like to be that human being, that personality with their body and their mind and their thoughts and feelings. And that's when you can give compassion so much, because you can understand that it is tough. It is a fucking tough life. Taking a forgetting pill and coming into this fucking world, not knowing who you are, and having no instructional book, and trying to understand the world around you and yourself. You know, you come into this world not knowing a single thing, and you know, what the fuck is this? You're just fucking here right now. You're just here. And that's the same with everyone. No one's got a fucking clue what they're doing. No one has the faintest idea, because you cannot know. Before you come into this life, you take a forgetting pill, and you know what I mean? So that's the ultimate sameness, is that I'm consciousness, you are consciousness. I'm experiencing this personality, these thoughts and feelings, and I can see that that same consciousness that is me is experiencing your thoughts and your feelings and your emotions and all this. And you didn't choose it. Like, who you think you are did not choose this. Your personality did not choose this life, as far as we know. No one's got a clue what's going on. Everyone is fucking afraid. Everyone's like, what am I doing here? Even if it's like the deepest feeling of like, what am I doing here? Everyone's experiencing that shit. Everyone has a sense of existential dread because they don't know what the fuck this whole thing is about. Like, we all make rules and ideas of, once I do this, then I'll know what life is about. Like, once I get a job and a house and money and a girlfriend, then everything will be fine. I'll will have figured out life. Or maybe it's like a scientist and he's like trying to figure out this thing. It's like, once I do this, then I'll know like the meaning of life or whatever. But the truth of the matter is, we've all got this existential dread, even if it is suppressed deep down, but we've all got it because it's the fact of just being alive, the mystery of being alive, the miraculousness of being alive, the mystery of existence. And you are that existence, that is consciousness, the miracle and mysteriousness of experiencing. So that is the level of sameness that I want to relate to. But of course, first you have to understand who you are first, and what it means to be you, and what it means to exist. And to understand that you are consciousness. To understand that you are this livingness that is inexplainable. And when you understand that, you can see it within other people. That they are the same consciousness that is inexplained, this mysterious thing that is just here with no starting point. It's just here. And so you can relate to that. When you ground yourself in that, when you ground yourself in the fact that you've got no fucking clue what you are, like you cannot know, like, not conceptually. I mean, you can know that you know, you can turn awareness onto itself, but that's still a mystery, you know? It's like, there is no starting point to consciousness. There is no Big Bang. Things didn't come out of nothing. Something has always been. It has to have. Because something cannot come out of nothing. Because that implies that nothing has got to have something in it for something to come out of that. So it's this thing that has always been and always will be. And that's inexplainable. That's just the nature of reality. Existence itself. Like, what the fuck? Existence is. Like, fucking hell, man. Like, that's crazy. And so when you ground yourself in that kind of shit, and you realize that that is consciousness itself, then you can see that same consciousness within other people, this inexplainable, mysterious thing. And when you ground yourself in that and you relate to other people with that, it's all fucking love, because it's just existence relating to existence. Reality relating to reality. It's no longer me relating to you. It's just this relating to this. Consciousness relating to consciousness, whatever word you want to call it, but it's just this moment, existence itself, life. But of course, not always the easiest thing, is it? Grounding yourself in this groundless ground, this emptiness, the emptiness that is full of everything. The thing that transcends form and formlessness. Existence. And always easy to ground yourself in the miracle of life, in the profundity of existence. Most of the time, I'm somebody. I'm Jasper, doing something, going somewhere. Not doing something, not going somewhere. I'm a boyfriend, I'm a son, I'm a brother, I'm a friend, I'm a stranger. So this is really my mission in life, is to fucking transcend all the roles, whilst still simultaneously being able to be in the roles. You know, it's not about just transcending and ditching these sort of lower levels, because the lower levels are encapsulated into everything else. Everything is existence. Everything is a snippet of truth, a little slither of truth. Everything is an expression of truth. So everything is God. Everything is reality. Nothing excludes that. But you've got to understand that first. So you've got to go up these high levels, transcend these roles, transcend your ego, transcend your personality, who you think you are. Be consciousness, ground yourself in the miracle of existence, and then come back down, because you got to realize that it's all the same thing. Like, it's not just about transcending your ego. You've got to transcend your ego, but then you've got to come back to encapsulate your ego into the whole thing. You see, reality is both everything and nothing, but simultaneously transcends both of those things and encapsulates both of them. So reality is both everything and nothing, but neither everything and nothing, and transcends everything and nothing, and transcends that transcendence. It's infinity. You cannot go beyond it. It's everything. But yeah, so I'm still having trouble in my life with relationships, human relationships, and the roles that I play. Mostly is what I struggle with in life. And being dishonest, you know. Because I'm scared, you know, like, a lot of the time, like, I talk a whole lot about this, like, spiritual, what people would call spiritual shit. And I'm afraid to talk about this shit because in my own perspective, a lot of people don't even realize these other dimensions of life, these other planes of consciousness where you can be in your soul or be in consciousness. People, from my eyes, are mostly just acting in this one plane of existence, which is their ego. They just think ego. It's just, you know, I mean, I can never know that, but that's what it seems from my perspective, and maybe that's a limiting thing on my behalf, but it's hard when I want to sort of express something from a higher dimension where it's just like I'm consciousness looking down at my ego. I can't fucking express that shit to a whole lot of people because most people don't even acknowledge these higher planes. They're still in their ego. And higher does not mean better. I'm not saying I'm better than people. It just means going a step beyond. It's neither better or worse. It's just different, but it is higher. It's like levels of consciousness. Like, there are levels of consciousness. Like, human consciousness, of course, is levels higher than, say, consciousness of an insect. Like, we're more self-aware. We're more aware of what's going on. We're able to train our mind and do shit. I mean, look, like, the shit that we've done as a society, create all these, like, buildings and, like, done all this shit in the world. Like, it's clear that humans are acting at a higher level of consciousness than other animals. But yeah, you can go even more, up and up and up and up. So, roles, yeah, relating and roles. So I think I don't know. Because this is the thing, is like, if I'm, I think the spiritual ego can get really fucking complicated, because you could like be with someone and be like, oh, I'm relating on a consciousness to consciousness level, but then kind of be like frustrated or disheartened that this other person's not doing that this other person can't relate to you on that level. But then you're not even relating on that level either. If you were relating on a consciousness to consciousness level, then whatever they say does not matter a thing. If they expressing the most fucking low consciousness bullshit in fucking ever, talking about fucking bullshit TV shows and junk food and the most low consciousness shit ever, if you're relating on a consciousness level, you won't give a shit about that. You will see right past that and give them love, because you will know that they are the same as what's in you. And so this is a tricky thing. I think this is sometimes what I can get trapped in, is I'm relating on consciousness to consciousness level. Why can't you relate with me like that? Why can't you relate with me like that? But then that's just the spiritual ego talking. Yeah, it's hard though. It's hard. Because I still do realize that it is important to have relationships. It's important to socialize. And so there's still a big part of me that is this sort of spiritual ego that wants to talk about these higher levels of existence. But there's not a whole lot of people in my life to talk about like that. And that's why I do these videos. These videos is a way for me to express what I can't express to anyone else, because I'm afraid. I'm afraid that people won't understand. I'm afraid that I'll start thinking I'm fucking gone crazy and that, you know, whatever, like. So that's an important thing to realize, is that if you are relating on a same to same level, that does not require anything of anyone. So if you're relating as just this conscious being to another conscious being, whatever they say, whatever they do, does not matter. And you do not need them to do anything for you. So that's really important to understand. Is that you can see when you're bullshitting yourself. When you are wanting people to relate to you in a certain way, in the name of consciousness. If you understand what I mean. So it's like, you can tell that you're bullshitting yourself when you want someone to act a certain way with you, when you want a relationship to go a certain way, to relate in a certain way, when you require that, you can see that it's not grounded in what am I fucking saying? I'm trying to fucking get these words across. Ugh. But yeah. Anyway, there you go.